So when you look at Jay-Z's character and how it's portrayed, and how it comes across and the things that he's done to rise to the top in the music industry and definitely in the hip hop game, it comes from a place of being perpetually the man next to the man, always needing someone else to kind of shine off of because he lacked that certain charisma and the look and the appeal on his own to be as big as he wanted to be and as big as he saw himself. And those factors alone are the reason why he takes the approach to business that he does and why he can be seen as being one of hip hop's biggest haters, if not the biggest hater. Let's get into it. So due to everything that's happening in hip hop and most recently the Super Bowl pick of Kendrick Lamar being picked to perform at the halftime show of the Super Bowl in New Orleans and it not being Lil Wayne. Of course, a lot of Lil Wayne fans, a lot of New Orleans fans, a lot of Drake and Young Money fans, and a lot of Jay-Z haters have come out and blamed Jay-Z directly for Lil Wayne not being picked for the Super Bowl. Now, I did a video on that already. You'll see the link up above at the top of the screen there somewhere. And though I think it's not exactly fair because I don't think it's just his decision, I do understand where it comes from as far as the fans thinking Jay-Z is holding a grudge against whether it be Lil Wayne, whether it be Drake, whether it be Baby and Cash Money, whether it be Nicki Minaj, so many people, because Jay-Z in 2024 is seen as a hater. And people wonder why. You know, Jay-Z is supposed to be one of the greatest rappers of all time, supposed to be a billionaire, all of these things. Why do people have this opinion of him? Well, you have to look at Jay-Z's origin. And a lot of people, first of all, not old enough to know or to remember when Jay-Z first started his rap career. I am. Now, I was a younger person, very much into hip hop, you know, in school still. And just to make a long story short, Jay-Z was nowhere near as popular as he would like to make you think he was, definitely early in his career. And that is what, to me, has led to what is seen as his cutthroat business practices that he has adopted as his career has grown. So-called trying to stop other people from shining to keep himself at a certain level in hip hop. So before we get all the way into it, I need you to do me a quick favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed the video, comment below, share the video on social media, tell a friend to tell a friend, and now let's continue. Now we start, Jay-Z was born first off in 1969, so he's much older than the other rappers who are part of his class. Like just for instance, he went to high school with Busta Rhymes and Biggie Smalls. He's 3 years older than both of them. So, you know, there's a story about him battling Busta Rhymes. He would have been a senior battling a freshman. You know, Busta Rhymes got on with the leaders of the new school in 1991 as a professional MC. Biggie Smalls, 93, with the Who's the Man soundtrack, and Ready to Die, his first album, was released in 1994. Now, Jay-Z was a feature on the song Hawaiian Sophie back in 1989 with Jaz-O, but no one knew who Jay-Z was, and you didn't hear from him again until 7 years later. Now, his first real hit song was Ain't No featuring Foxy Brown, which was released in March of 96. He released Dead Presidents a month before that. Nobody was checking for Dead Presidents back then. I don't care what they say. Now, Ain't No was a mediocre hit. It wasn't like a huge hit, but it was a good song that did get pretty good radio play at the time. Now, we have to remember what time period this is. This is the height of Tupac's career. This is the height of Biggie Smalls' career, the Wu-Tang Clan. There are a lot of much bigger artists that were at the top of hip hop at the time. Newer artists, like for instance, Mace released his album Harlem World. Busta Rhymes released his initial album, his first solo album, on the same day that Jay-Z released Reasonable Doubt. Now, Reasonable Doubt was not nearly as successful as either one of those albums, especially Mace's Harlem World, which is why I believe Jay-Z and Mace still have a little bit of an issue with each other today. If you hear Mace's comments on the sports show, It Is What It Is, towards Jay-Z, the subliminal kind of shots about the Super Bowl situation, towards Jay-Z, accusing him of hating, it stems all the way back from the beginning of their careers. Now, a lot of fans don't understand how like Nicki Minaj can go on a rant against Jay-Z, and they don't understand certain artists disrespecting Jay-Z to the level that they do as they see it. And I think what people don't understand is that Jay-Z, those who go back that far, not that Nicki does, but like Mace and Cameron and Nas and all the artists who were much bigger back then at the time see Jay-Z as the little engine that could, because that's who he was as a rapper back then and as an artist. He did not have any appeal really, and he was not at the top of the class at all. It was his proximity and friendship with Biggie Smalls that really kept his name relevant at the beginning of his career. Now, to his credit, he was smart enough to maximize that opportunity and that proximity. However, it's what kind of leads him in trouble today because of his proximity to P. Diddy. People kind of see him in the same light, and there's a lot of reason why, and I'll do that in another video when I compare P. Diddy, and Drake and the similarities and why they seem to be tied up in the same kind of activity, although with Drake and Jay-Z, it's very much alleged. There's not a lot of concrete proof that they've done anything illegal to the level that Diddy has been now indicted for. But getting back to Jay-Z, now I think what confuses people about Jay-Z and the hate that he gets is that it seems that Jay-Z does a lot of things that are genuinely to help people. And I think, again, you have to look at his career and that he really has always tried to stand next to the most talented person at the time. If you look at Kanye West, if you look at Beyonce, if you look at Biggie Smalls, if you look at Dame Dash, Rihanna, the list goes on to people Jay-Z has kind of stood next to elevate his own profile. And the beef with Nas simply came out of nowhere. It had no personal backstory. It was simply Jay-Z kind of being jealous of Nas's respect and position in the culture as he was trying to position himself as the best lyrical MC in the game. But nobody really viewed him in that way because Nas was just a better rapper and a better MC who had more depth and ability in his lyrical performance. Very similar to Drake versus Kendrick in that way. But going back to the Super Bowl situation, and people brought up Jay-Z bailing Lil Wayne out of a tax situation where he loaned him reportedly $14 million. Now that is something great to do, but I saw it more as an investment because Jay-Z has always been trying to sign Lil Wayne away from Young Money and the people who kind of raised him, Young Money, Cash Money, and Baby. And again, this goes back into the practice of Jay-Z always trying to position himself next to the hottest thing. You know, Lil Wayne was set to release the Carter 5 that year, which was a very anticipated album. But if you look at Jay-Z's profile as far as his partnerships and people he's friends with and people he's collaborated with, there's a pattern of him doing one of two things. Either if the person starts to get a little too cold or has any kind of trouble, he kind of leaves them hanging. Or if they get too hot to where they're above him and their profile starts to get over his, he starts to hate on them in different kind of ways. Now, what comes to mind right off the bat is the situation with he and DMX when he became the president of Def Jam, actually DMX and LL Cool J, where it seemed like Jay-Z tried to repress their album releases in favor of his own when he was supposed to be retired. If you look at the split of Rockefeller, it really had to do or really coincided with the success of Cameron and the Diplomats coming to the label. It seemed that after Jay-Z lost the battle with Nas, his profile took a dip. The next album, Blueprint 2, didn't do as well. And Dame bringing along the Diplomats, who were from Harlem, who he had, I guess, more of a relationship with, seemed threatening to Jay-Z, and he made a different kind of move. Now, whether it's, you can see it as him being a hater of Cameron and the Diplomats or him just doing what was best for his career, that's left up for each person to decide. But being part owner of the label, it seems like he would have been happy at any artist at Rockefeller having success. But in the end, he just kind of left Dame Dash and Rockefeller Records hanging, kind of sold them out to Island Def Jam. If you look it up, I'm not going to go through all the particulars of the deals. But to make a long story short, and this pattern continues, by the way, with Kanye West. If you look at Kanye West, Jay-Z and Kanye West were as thick as thieves until Kanye West became a little bit more political. Also married Kim Kardashian, and Jay-Z kind of started to take his hands away from Kanye West because Kanye West's profile, again, took a little bit of a dip. As long as Kanye was having the #1 albums in hip hop, Jay-Z was his big brother and his best friend. But then when Kanye started to become a little bit controversial, Jay-Z did not stick by his side for 3 seconds. And then there's the boost his career got with his marriage to Beyonce. Now we have to keep in mind that Jay-Z has won a total of 24 Grammys. 17 of those have been won after his marriage to Beyonce, and his highest selling album of all time was Hard Knock Life Volume 2 in 1998. As a matter of fact, 6 of his top 10 selling albums were before they were married, were recorded and released before they were married. So obviously being married to Beyonce kind of elongated his profile and him being at the top of the music game, because the albums he released after they were married just did not do as well. So how he won so many more awards after the marriage, I don't know. You know, maybe Drake shouldn't be as mad about the Grammys as he seems to be, as far as Kendrick having way more Grammys than he does. But anyway, do I think Jay-Z is hip hop's biggest hater? I don't know. I just think he has a certain way that he wants to be relevant. He's always wanted to be a big star, and he has a way of trying to maintain his stardom. You know what I'm saying? He gets next to people who are really talented and tries to stay there until their buzz wears down. But let me know what you think in the comments below, as far as, do you think Jay-Z is the biggest hater in hip hop, or one of the biggest haters in hip hop? Does he just hate on people? Is he kind of a leech as far as trying to put himself next to big stars to increase his own profile? Are his business practices a little snaky there? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did he hate on Wayne for the Super Bowl? Again, I don't agree with that. And you can see why if you check out this video that you see on the screen right here, where I broke down exactly why Wayne was not picked for the Super Bowl and Kendrick Lamar was, that whole process. Check out that video to get more information on that. Thank you for watching as always, and we out.